Welcome to the Beyond 20 ServiceNow REST API tutorial series. This video will cover how to connect to the ServiceNow REST API with JavaScript in a web page, and will demonstrate how to build dynamic HTML tables from the data returned by the ServiceNow API. Before we begin, if you're not familiar with the basic and OAuth 2.0 authentication methods to connect to the ServiceNow REST API, please watch the first two parts of this series. I'll place a link to those videos in the comments below, or you can search for them on our Beyond 20 LLC channel. This video also assumes that you have a basic understanding of HTML, JavaScript, jQuery, REST API, and JSON. If you need more help with any of these topics, you may want to view our videos before proceeding. Let's begin with our setup of either a basic authentication user account or an OAuth 2.0 API credentials in our ServiceNow instance. If you'll recall, for basic, we had to set up a user that has different roles added to it in ServiceNow. And for OAuth 2, we had to set up an application that had a client ID and a client secret. So next we're going to use our Beyond 20 demo lab to create and test our JavaScript as we walk through our video series. I should add that we are using ServiceNow San Diego version and have elected to use the basic authentication method for these tests. All right, and then here was our Postman call. This is the same call we're going to test over in our test lab. It's just getting the table incident. We'll go ahead and we'll send the call now that we have our authentication set up. And you can see it brings back this huge JSON. We'll go ahead and in Postman we can prettify that, and it goes down here and it sets up, and we can see that we have a result that has an array, and within that array are all of our fields. So we took one record of this array and then we created over in our JavaScript, we created a map. So I'll show you what the map looks like. And this map is so that we can have a grid, basically the header labels for our table that we're going to display as our result once we get back our test result from the API. So here's the grid that we've created. We call it a constant. It's the incident map, and it's basically an array of keys and labels. So if the key is number, we want the label to be ticket to pound, and so forth. So each one of those labels is going to be used by our script to set as the header for each column in our grid that we show, or the table that we show. And then in our next video, we'll show you how we get the data. All right, so we have a function that's going to build out our header row right here. We insert, it takes a parameter of table name, switches the table name, determines whether it is. Right now, because we're still building this video series, we're only adding in the incident case. And we're saying that if the table name is incident, we want my data array to be equal to the incident map constant that we've set forth earlier. We'll add other tables to this as we build out our video series. Next up, we need an array to hold all of our labels, so we'll call that the HCol, or the header column array. And then we will step through the incident map, or the my data array. And for each element in that array, we want to A, get the label, and then B, find out if that label exists already in our HColumn array. If it does not exist, meaning it equals -1, so we didn't find it, we'll go ahead and push that value into the HCol array. Next up, we have, we're going to create a new table. So we use the document create element table function. And we set our attributes so that we can make it a striped table. We also are going to set our border to 1. We're going to add our header row as just an insert row. For that header row, we want that to be the class of bginfo. So we set that attribute. And then we step through the HCol array. And for each element in there, we are going to create a new cell in the row. We're going to set the attributes for that cell to have an order and a column. And then the column is going to just be the key that we have for that array, and then the text for that, or the HTML, will be the key to uppercase, and also the HTML code for an up or down arrow. And in this case, we're going to set them all to be up arrows. This is so that, or in the next video, we'll be able to sort our data set by clicking on the headers of each column. And then we have the inner HTML for the cell is going to be equal to that text. And then we're going to return the table back to our HTML from our function. And then over in our page function, our web page function, we sat here and we said that we want to create a variable called table header, which is going to build that header row. And at the end, we're going to take that div that's called results, and we're going to set the HTML for that div to be the table header, and then we're going to show that div. You'll notice that the div is originally has a display setting of none. So that's how you dynamically build out a header using JavaScript and a data map for your data set that you'll get back from ServiceNow. I hope this video has been informative for you and that you're enjoying the ServiceNow API tutorial series from Beyond 20. Please subscribe to our Beyond 20 LLC channel on YouTube to view more videos on ServiceNow, ITIL, and other ITSM solutions provided by Beyond 20. Or visit our website at www.beyond20.com to learn how Beyond 20 can assist your company with ITSM training and consulting, as well as ServiceNow development and administration.